You guys, I have a theory about Jaws, the movie Jaws.
No,
No,
What is
did
your theory?
but did you ever watch like movies and you kind of go like, the bad guy in this isn't so bad, really,
Oh,
really.
yeah.
But my theory was that the mayor in Jaws didn't really do anything wrong, like
Yeah.
because you're calculating the whole movie triangulates you to hate him,
Yeah.
and the one thing that they do that's like, okay, that's a little, is when the girl at the beginning gets eaten by Jaws, and they go like, well, it was a boating attack, right?
Yeah.
So they kind of fudge that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of it's implied. They don't actually see that they did that, but they're kind of like, uh, but then like they probably thought Jaws was going to be like a normal shark.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, well, it'll swim on, like,
Yeah.
because like normal
That's
sharks,
what they do,
normal sharks apparently don't really eat, like they don't want to
Yeah.
eat people. Like Jaws is not a real portrait of what a real shark is like, It's
Yeah.
like it even tells you like false information in the movie, right? So like a shark doesn't like a lion. Okay, Jaws kind of acts like a lion would,
Right.
like a man-eating lion,
Yeah.
but that's not a shark doesn't want to eat people. They're like
They'll just spit you out.
yeah, they're like they bite into you and go like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Bleh.
it ain't like a seal. Now they eat a seal.
Right. Right, like they probably even once they figure out like people are in the area, they're like, oh, I'm getting out of here. This
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
But they probably at the very beginning were like, well, we don't need to cause a panic, because he literally says if you say shark, it's going to cause a panic, and so they and then like also like why is he so bad for not believing the police chief who's noticeably afraid of water? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the police chief is like, it's like maybe you're freaking out about this, like maybe calm down. So then there's another killing, and that's the one with the Kittner boy, So that's, and again, Jaws goes right into the shoreline, and like I think a lot of people do get attacked by sharks in like in lesser shallower water or whatever, but still. It's like Jaws is angling, like he wants to kill. Jaws wants to kill people. You're like, so that one's like, okay. So once they find out, okay, there's something going on with this shark, it kind of reminds me, the people in the movie, or the way the movie tries to get you to think, it kind of reminds me of like people during like a certain thing that we had a few years back about how we needed to shut everything down. You know what I mean? Shut it down. Shut it all down. It's like, really? Shut it down. Shut it all down. Who cares what kind of damage it's going to do? Shut it. But so and then okay. So the Kittner boy gets killed. And so what does he do? They call out the National Guard to they have all these boats out there in the harbor, patrolling and everything. Now somehow Jaws is smart enough to get around that when some kids pull a prank. Like Jaws was just floating out there waiting, like, ooh, it's a shark, But like Jaws was like, so like really the shark in the movie is like some weird devil fish that has, it's like a deliberately evil fish who's like, oh, they moved on. Okay, I'm gonna swim in there and eat somebody, And it's like, so then that happens. So then they hire Quint, who's also kind of crazy. And and then Richard Dreyfuss comes in as the marine biologist. And you think as a marine biologist, he would be like, no, sharks aren't so bad.
Yeah.
You have to understand. And people misunderstand. But no, he's like, kill it!
Yeah.
You gotta kill Jaws! He's like screaming. And and frankly, he kind of seems like he's on coke. Like I'll say, like even the part now. Yeah, it was really effective when I saw it as a kid. When when they're doing the autopsy and he's like, looking. Now I'm like, grow up a little, like what I mean, like be a little professional. He's like looking in that thing, and he pulls out a hand. He's like, and you're like, it just kind of seems like a dude on cocaine. So like if I'm the mayor and these two, the police chief who's like noticeably afraid of water, and Richard Dreyfuss are both like screaming at me about there's a shark. I would just be like, all right, come, okay, guys,
That's the way to act around the table.
I would just be like, you guys are maybe going a little nuts. And so then they have to hire Quint, and Quint's kind of crazy, and then they go out alone in the boat and kill the shark. Okay, so but the mayor is portrayed as like the ultimate Bill, he's portrayed as like sleazy. And like, yeah, now Martin, we can't be going on, doing this, And it's like,
because he don't want to ruin the tourist.
Right. Well, it's just a good thing, maybe not to ruin. Like, there are plenty of places. See, I don't know what the protocols are for how they handle, how a beach now handles shark attacks. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they shut down for a few days or something. Yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? But, like, I was thinking about that movie Soul Surfer, right? When that girl got her arm bit off by a shark. What'd they do? Did they go in and, like, shut everything? So, but, like, he was just like, now, Martin, if you say barracuda, people go, oh, what's that? If you say shark, suddenly you have a panic on the 4th of July. So, but here's my ultimate point. Okay, so this is why I kind of don't like Jaws.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, Jaws wants you to be afraid of the water. It wants to shut everything down. It wants to ruin your summer, right? Like whereas like
I bet it did.
yeah, it did. When I was a kid, I was afraid to go swimming because of this freaking shark movie. And so like, but what is the effect that Jaws? What was the effect that Jaws had in real life? People went out and like overhunted these shark populations because they saw this fucking stupid. Sorry, they saw a stupid movie, and they saw this, and like both Peter Benchley, the guy who wrote the book to Jaws, said, "Oh man, I kind of if I had realized the effect it was going to have, I wouldn't have probably wouldn't have written it." And and then Steven Spielberg even said like I kind of regret that we made this movie because it went out and they overhunted like these shark populations. You're maybe driving something. So like I don't know. The mayor seems kind of a little bit vindicated if you both said, hey, we shouldn't have because the whole movie is like in support of like being in blind panic about the shark. So I don't know. That's me. That's just mine.
Yeah, sharks only bite you because you move.
Right. Like
they just
I guess
they just want to take a taste.
Yeah.
And most of the time humans don't taste good to them.
Yeah, that's my understanding. So like so I don't know. That's just I've never gotten anybody. I've never gotten anybody else to agree with that theory, but
most of those people that have been bitten by a shark is because a shark come up behind them and it went down.
Yeah.
And people get half the side bit out because they're big.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've never every thing you ever look up about sharks, they're like, well, sharks aren't that bad. It's like so I don't know.
Well.